Hey class. All right, I'm going to do a lesson over living and non-living things. The world around us includes living and non-living things. Last week, you made a T-chart over things that you think were living and things that you thought were non-living. And some of the examples you said were yourself or your dog or your mom. Those are right. Those are living things. And some of your non-examples were like toys or your book. Those are really good observations of things that are living and non-living things. So I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit more about each. What are living things? Plants, animals, and people are living things. Anything that breathes, um, needs water or food, those are living things. They need air to breathe, food to eat, and water to drink so that they can live. Animals must eat food and drink water to stay alive. Otherwise, they won't stay alive. Just like you need to have food and water to stay alive. How do plants get food and water? Because plants are living things too, so how do they get food and water? Plants use their roots to pull water and nutrients from the soil. Nutrients is food. So plants use their roots to pull water and food from the soil. What else makes something a living thing? Living things grow, change, and can move from place to place. You grow and change and move from place to place. You grow from a baby to a kid to an adult and then to a grandma and grandpa. And you can also move because you can move your feet and go from one place to another. How do plants grow, change, and move? Because those are different than people and animals. So plants grow from small seeds to big plants or big trees, and they change each year. If you can remember when we learned about the seasons, they change from having leaves to the leaves changing colors to them falling in the winter and then growing again in the spring. So they change every year as well. How can plants move? Yes, the wind can move them, but how do they move on their own? Plants move by growing towards the sun. They grow up. That's them moving. They grow up towards the sun. Changes in living things can happen slowly or they can happen quickly. What are some changes that happen slowly? Your your hair. Your hair changes slowly as it's growing and you want it to get long. You have to wait a while for it to be long hair, so it grows pretty slow. You getting taller, that takes time as that changes. You changing your shoe size also takes a while to change. What are some changes that can happen quickly? Well, if you want your hair to stay short, you might have to cut it often. And so that's a quick change. Just cutting your hair right off, bam, you have new hair, and that happens really fast. Losing a tooth happens really quick. You had a tooth, and then one day it fell out. So that's a quick change. Now you have less teeth. Can you think of any other quick changes? Living things also produce an offspring that look like their parents. An offspring is a baby. So people and animals, they produce little babies, offsprings that look like them. How might a plant produce an offspring? Because remember, plants are living things too. You are right. They're seeds. Plants produce seeds, which grow into new plants. All right, we're going to review living things. Living things can move, grow bigger, and produce offsprings or babies. Living things need energy from food and water to grow and change over time. Fruits and vegetables are living things while they are still attached to the plant. Once they are picked, they become non-living things because they are no longer getting water or food to grow anymore. So they are now non-living things. What are non-living things? Non-living things are objects that do not grow or change over time and do not produce offsprings. Okay, so this robot dog toy right here is a non-living thing because it can't move, it can't change, it can't have a baby. These shoes are non-living things because they can't move without you moving them. And these stuffed animals are non-living things because they don't change, they don't grow. They're going to stay that same size. Can non-living things move? No. Non-living things cannot move on their own. They need help from living things to move. The bus needs a motor and wheels and a bus driver to move. It cannot move on its own, so the bus is non-living. The man pushing the lawnmower is non-living, but it's moving because of the living thing moving it. There are lots of non-living things in our classroom. We use non-living things every day. You use books or pencils or crayons every day, and those are non-living things. All right, we're going to review non-living things now. Non-living things do not change over time. They do not produce an offspring or a baby, and they do not need energy from food. You wouldn't feed a tractor, would you? No, because it's a non-living. It doesn't need food. Are you ready for the quiz? All right, let's see. Is this living or non-living? Living. Good job. Is this living or non-living? Non-living. Good job. Is this living or non-living? Non-living. Good. Living or non-living? You're right. Living. It needs food. Living or non-living? Living, because it's still connected to the plant right there. If it wasn't connected to the plant, it would be non-living. How many living and non-living things can you find in this picture? Pause the video. How many living and non-living things can you find in this picture? Pause the video. All right, this is your assignment that goes with this. If you can print it out, go ahead and print the link out that's on the lesson plan, but you need to cut these pieces out and sort them. Is this item living or is it non-living? And you need to put them in the correct spot. If you cannot print this out, that is okay. Try your best to make the pictures yourself and put them in the correct spot, living or non-living. So try your best to draw an ant. Is it living or non-living? And put it in the correct spot. And then when you're done, take a picture and share it on Seesaw for me to see. See y'all later.